Hello everybody out there today. I'm going to be talking, I'm a little cold today, so I'm going to wear my Under Armour jacket. I'm cold by this window, it's freezing. It looks sunny and beautiful, but nature is a cruel mistress. She's a cruel mistress. So, what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about, is there really a difference between Tier 1 decks and Tier 2? And can Tier 2 decks beat Tier 1 decks? Now, this is personal opinion and watching it firsthand. Yes, Tier 2 decks can beat Tier 1 decks. I have seen it. I have done it. They can beat them in a match. The thing is, if it's a rogue deck, like I've talked before about rogue decks, it couldn't beat a deck because it's unexpected. They don't anticipate it. They don't side for it. They're usually siding for the main things. Fire Fist, Prophecy, Water, possibly Macro Rabbit. Usually Macro Rabbit, but yes. They're going to side for the mainstream stuff, quote unquote. And those mainstream decks are usually the Tier 1 decks. I call it, yes, the broken decks. Tier 1 decks to me are the broken decks that haven't been hit by the ban list yet. And the popular decks of the format. So it's like a popularity contest to me. It comes from first opinion, what I think is Tier 1. And I'm not going to go into what my personal preferences are for Tier 1 because I know there's a lot of good decks out there and good players that play those decks. So Tier 2 decks can beat Tier 1. But what Tier 1 decks, I believe, are the popular mainstream deck, like I've said before, I just said. Tier 2 decks can beat them. I've done it. My Gravekeepers have beat my Windups when Windups were amazing. My Dark World deck recently beat 2 Water decks because he wasn't expecting a Dark World, really. He sided one macro. He had 2 macros. He didn't draw them. But it's just people don't expect it. So Tier 2 decks can be Tier 1 decks. Tier 3 decks, I consider, if we want to go to Tier 3, are decks that are very old school. And when I mean very old school, I mean before the game really changed. I'm talking before Heroes, around Heroes, early Synchro decks, Naturine Beast, not even Watt decks. I consider those pretty good. Thunder Family type decks. Thunder Family is awesome, by the way. But old school, like Aliens. If you even knew there was an Alien deck, yes, there is an Alien deck. Things like Psychics, I would say, are 1.5. It just depends who's using them and whatnot. Yes, Jeff Jones did good last spring with his Psychic deck type thing, Soil, Earth, whatever. But that's a different story. It's Jeff Jones. So yes, Tier 2 can beat Tier 1. It just depends on what you side, how you play, and not making mistakes. So that's my video. Hope you learned something. Hope I made you not give up on one of your decks that people consider bad or good. Always work at your decks. They always can be improved. And if you stop improving a deck, then you're having problems. Because everything should be improving in your deck at least once a month, every twice a month. You should be trying something new out. There's no such thing as a perfect deck. Never has been, unless you're Yugioh. So, take care all. See you next time.